What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Jazz. Today's a little different. We are at the desk going to be doing some updates on what's going around Disney right now. Get the mic kind of fixed. This is a new setup that we're going to probably utilize more often to get some more content on the channel, since we do not live in the Orlando area. Unfortunately, we cannot stay up to date in person, so this is the best next best thing. So let's go ahead and get into the three major announcements that happened in the past couple weeks. We was on the cruise when all of this kind of broke, so catching up on some news, and the more news that's brought out, we will continue to bring out to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll get my tab pulled up here. Let's save this one for last, actually. That's kind of the most exciting. So WDW News Today brings a little inside look of the Disney the magic of Disney animation. Okay, so what we're going to do here is go over what they kind of brought up. Disney is showing a behind-the-scenes look at the construction site for the magic of Disney animation at Hollywood Studios, specifically the Alice in Wonderland themed playground. All right, let me get a picture pulled up here for you. Because they showed a little map that kind of explains. Yeah, here it is. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. Zoom. There we go. All right, so this is kind of a map of what the inside of the building is going to look like. They've got Drawn to Wonderland up in the top left corner. You can see right here, that's what this video is kind of about. And then this is, get me out of the way, off the page, where you can meet some of your favorite Disney characters. Down here is Once Upon a Studio Theater, where they'll be showing that short Once Upon a Studio, which is kind of what this whole new building is based on. And then over here, Olaf Draws is where you can actually draw with Olaf alongside of a Disney animator. So let's go ahead and get back into this article here. We read that. Disney Magic of Animation. In the clip, we see Drawn to Wonderland area with the Mad Hatter house. The play space will be for ages 5 and under. So if you're not 5 and under, you can't go. We have several interactive elements Disney recently released on the map of the space that we just saw in that picture I just showed you. Here's a couple more images. Let's go ahead and watch the video and kind of get an idea of what they are talking about. That's just an image. Let's see, where's the video at. Here's more images of it, what's it going to look like. Here we go.
You guys want to come on inside?
Pardon our pixie dust.
We're using literally every square inch that we can in here. Welcome to the Drawn to Wonderland playground.
So this was that top left corner section I was talking about.
Playground equipment for different ages. Here we have our
but just 5 and under
area, complete with our very own Hatter's house, and you'll see that theme everywhere.
Okay, we talked about that, the Mad Hatter house.
We want to hit different types of play. So we have different sensory marvels that you can come along and interact with.
This is kind of cool because it's indoors and it's not going to be so scorching hot on you.
If you take a look up, you can see our ceiling clouds, which aren't just clouds. We have some that are dark and stormy, some that are a little bit more like treetops, and some of our pink swirls. When it comes to design,
so not all clouds.
We have to take into mind a lot of our facility constraints. This space used to be an office with those constraints. Okay,
yeah, so they used to be office spaces where like they actually did animate some Disney movies. So some most famous ones are like Brother Bear, Mulan, Lilo and Stitch. So those are 3 big ones that were animated actually on the property of Hollywood Studios, formerly MGM. So that was what that building originally was. It was the animation building, which is kind of cool to bring it back to those roots.
We can't just take out columns, we have to work around them. So we're using theming with flats to lean into those ideas.
Yeah, so they covered up columns with these flats because they can't necessarily change the structural part of the buildings.
This is one of my favorite pieces of playground equipment. And in it, you can
paint the roses red. That's kind of cool. Spin it around.
Or red. Or white.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. That's part of the Disney Magic update, but we're not going to get into that. Today's going to be just about the park stuff. So that's the end of the article. So that's the playground, but like I said, other experiences in the Disney Magic of Animation include the new Animation Academy, hosted by Olaf instead of live artists. That's a kind of a debate there. There is a live artist on the screen, but it's kind of controversial that it's not a live artist in front of you like at Disneyland, which I would have preferred. that's pretty much all there is for the Magic of Animation building. Let's go ahead and move on to another update at Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Monstropolis construction. So, discovering Monstropolis at Walt Disney World. Okay, so this is kind of a background to what is going on, the storyline of why Monstropolis is at Hollywood Studios, and kind of why we are going to visit it and experience it. So, the Monstropolis horn says Human Day, acronym, is a go. Monstropolis is starting to take shape as Disney construction continues at Disney Hollywood Studios and Walt Disney World Resort. Steel rises behind the walls, new details emerge almost daily with every milestone. In the world of Disney's Pixar Monsters Inc. is roaring to life. Though a creative collaboration between Disney Imagineering and Pixar, guests will finally be able to take all the monstrous sights, tastes, and sounds of Sully and Mike's world. But this isn't just a new land taking shape, it's the beginning of a new story. Alright, so here's the story. Monstropolis. The Monster City, now powered by laughter, okay, so this obviously takes place after the events of Monsters Inc., is getting ready to give humans a glimpse of what is hidden in their world for generations, which raises an interesting question. If humans were never meant to enter the monster world, why are the doors finally opening to us? As it turns out, the answer is making headlines in the city of Monstropolis, through the pages of the Monstropolis Horn, the city's official newspaper. Monsters are talking about a historic decision and is seriously mixing things up for monster kind. All right, let's kind of read this. For generations. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this article here. So the newspaper says, following the months of planning, growling, and grumbling, the Department of Human Relations has a win on their books. The historic decision has been made to move ahead with the Humans Understand Monsters Are Nice, or Human Day initiative. Plans are in progress to introduce human beings to the city of Monstropolis and all its scary, furried, and winged glory. For generations, monsters believe that even though screams powered our city, a single touch from the smallest human could be lethally toxic. A recent discovery by James P. Sullivan, CEO of Monsters Inc. So that's something we didn't know, unless I haven't watched the Monsters at Work show that's on Disney Plus, so maybe he was CEO in that. But if he wasn't, Sully's CEO of Monsters Incorporated, has disproven the long-standing belief. In fact, human laughter is 10 times more powerful than their screams. With Human Day, the Department of Human Relations sets an ambitious and still controversial goal to open the doors not to scare, but to show how much we care for humans despite their lack of scales. All right, so this is pretty much just taking what the laugh floor is and expanding it. So that's pretty much the same storyline for the laugh floor, but instead of watching it through a screen, we'll actually get to step into that world, which is pretty cool. But it kind of does show to me that the laugh floor is its days are limited. A laugh that changed it all. 2319, we'll skip that. When James P. Sullivan and Mike, with one eye, discovered that human laughter, okay, so like in the first movie, generates as far more power than screams. It didn't just transform the energy crisis, it transformed Monstropolis itself. Picking up right here, we started a breakthrough inside Monsters Inc., which quickly became something bigger, a citywide shift in monster-viewed humans. Scales fell from their eyes, well, at least for the ones that with scales to shed. All right, Department of Human Relations, there it is. The Department of Human Relations, so kind of what that is. Monstropolis evolved, so did its connection with the human world. You may have heard of the HR department, but you haven't heard of this HR department. That's right, I'm talking about the Department of Human Relations. This is a new team established by the city and has been tasked with sinking their teeth, and in some cases their big teeth, into helping monsters understand humans as welcomed guests. So I'm guessing that the cast members are going to be part of the Human Relations team, and they'll probably have a costume that goes along with that. Newly stated, department has been spearheading a moment that was once thought impossible, inviting humans into Monstropolis for the very first time. It's not the very first time because this is kind of the story of the laugh floor, so that's a little bit misleading. And that invitation has a name, Human Day. We already talked about that. Here's the logo for the Monstropolis city, so I'm sure this will be on trash cans and stuff like that around the land. Here's some concept art of what it's going to look like. Obviously, this is the Glob, and that is the previous Muppet Vision 3D. This is kind of a look of what the ride is going to look like. It's going to be a suspended coaster that goes up, Disney's first suspended coaster, so that's pretty cool. Now we're going to get into a video of a Imagineer showing us around the work site.
Where we're busy preparing for Human Day, the very
Except the last floor, not the first time.
By the Department of Human Monster Relations in celebration of Human Day. Humans understanding that monsters are nice. We really don't separate ourselves.
Okay, so that's going to be the restaurant.
Shops and schools and beautiful theaters, just like we have in the human world. And here we're.
Okay, so that building was Pizza Rizzo. So that building we was looking at used to be Pizza Rizzo.
Including Mike and Sully's Walk to Work, from their famous brownstone all the way up to Monsters Inc. and the beautiful rotunda.
That's the back side of Muppet Vision.
Bringing all the monster finishes and fit, the scales, the claws, the horns, all the expectations that you have in this wonderful world, to create an environment that's truly immersive, that really can help you explore what it means to be.
Okay, so this would be kind of like, if you're looking this way, to your right would be Mama Melrose, and then if you went straight and out that gap to the left, that would kind of lead you back to where you could turn left to go to Galaxy's Edge, or turn right to go towards Sci-Fi and the Backlot Express and Star Tours.
Remember, we're in a post-scare world. We've already discovered that human laughter is much more powerful than screams. But the Department of Human Monster Relations is making sure that we can work together to solve Monstropolis' energy needs, but also entertain the human world and make sure they understand that monsters are really your friends. So let's come have some fun in Monstropolis and experience our similarities, what we have in common, and also what makes it distinctive. And don't be afraid of all the scales and fangs and horns. They're just part of the architecture.
So that's kind of a summary of what the land is going to be like and why it, the reason that we're going in there. Again, it's not as original as they're really making it out to be, because the storyline's very similar to the Laugh Lord, bringing you in because they scare and not care anymore, and they need your laughs to power the city. They're inviting you into the monster world. That's literally a line that Mike says in the pre-show, bringing you into the monster world. And they already say, we scare because we care. No, and sorry, they say we scare because we care in the movie, but you know, they're kind of just playing off that idea, which is fine, but you know, it's not as original as they bring it out to be. But still looking forward to it. That's probably going to be somewhere, my guess, 2028-ish, because they got a long ways to go, building that whole roller coaster and transforming the Muppet Courtyard area into Monstropolis. This is the most exciting to me, so let's go ahead and get into it. A great, big, beautiful tomorrow, the ever-changing Carousel of Progress. So this is updates regarding the Carousel of Progress. We already know that we're getting the Walt Disney animatronic, but the work seems to be much more extensive as we thought than we thought it was going to be in the first place. So let's go ahead and get into this article. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow on the way for Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. For the last 60 years, this passion project of Walt himself has served as a powerful reflection of optimism, innovation, and family over time. So this is one of the only things left that Walt actually worked on himself. That's why this change is a little bit controversial. Yet, while the themes have always stayed the same, the most performed stage show in the history of American theater has taken several forms over the years. Yeah, so there's already been tons of changes to it. So before we talk about what's next for this beloved attraction, let's take a look back on its evolution. The evolution of the Carousel of Progress, we're going to kind of skim through this. Goes back to the 50s. Walt cites expanding Disneyland. Let's see. The square would be anchored by harnessing lights, walking through a drama exploring how electricity transformed the lifestyle of American family. Skip ahead. All right, this is where we need to get into. When the work began on the Disney shows for the 64-65 New York World's Fair, Walt and his team of Imagineers reworked the harnessing the light concept into a smash hit of the Progress Land Pavilion, Carousel Progress. The fair marked the debut of the attraction's iconic rolling theater system, as well as its equally iconic anthem by the songwriters Robert B. and Richard M. Sherman, and it was an enormous success and a project deeply personal to Walt. It captured his overarching spirit for optimism and is reflecting on his hands-on creative decision down to the details, as specific as Uncle Orville's toes would wiggle in the bathtub. So that's kind of a concept of what the original looked like. Following its run in the World Fair, Walt brought it to Disneyland, where it opened in '67, with several updates, including a final scene, now set in Progress City, which was Walt's vision for Epcot. At the same time, no one could have known that this finale would become a sign of things to come, as Carousel of Progress would make its way to Disney World in 1975. Okay, so let's get in. That's a little background about the Carousel of Progress. Now let's get into where it's going to be going. All right, keeping Walt's vision alive. So I do like this part of the update. As you can see, the Carousel of Progress was designed to celebrate change, not stand still. I 100% agree. As Imagineers, we have the great responsibility of keeping Walt's ideas of innovation looking forward-looking spirit alive as we continue building the attraction's future together. So where are we heading? You may remember last year we announced that guests will soon be able to see Walt Disney himself in animatronic form. There is the concept for that. Walt is this scene is inspired by the 1964 special Disneyland Goes to the World's Fair, which is where he first announced the idea of the Carousel of Progress and shared his enduring belief in the power of progress to shape a better tomorrow. The team is having a lot of fun sourcing and replicating many of the props seen in that special, like the prototype Tiki Bird, the Flower for Winds model, and It's a Small World. So they're recreating that pretty shot for shot. But here's the new decades. Here's the big controversy, because they're really changing pretty much every scene. So, new decades to come to the Carousel of Progress. Okay, Act 1, the 60s. In summer of 1969, our Carousel family, along with millions around the world, gather around the television to witness one of humanity's greatest achievements, the historic moon landing, filled with awe and the moment that captures the spirit of innovation and possibly that has always been. It will always be the heart of the Carousel of Progress. So the first one will be the moon landing. So, I mean, you can imagine all the stuff that they could do with this. Let's see, USA moon landing. Okay, so yeah, I mean, all the stuff they show this on the TV, obviously. Let's see, 1960s family watching. Just want to see something that. Okay, yeah. So you can imagine the family. This is obviously AI, but you can imagine the family in the scene looking, oh no. You can imagine the scene looking something along these lines, them gathered around the TV and doing something like that. So that's the 60s. That's the first one. Okay, in the 80s, everything was bigger and better, and things keep on getting bigger. We pick up the family on Halloween night, 1985. For the first time, Sarah's taking center stage, so not John. That's pretty interesting. Sarah's going to be the main focus of this scene. She'll share how all the new appliances and gadgets are making her life easier for the whole family. Speaking of John, we'll find him on the porch handing out candy to trick-or-treaters, and poor Uncle Orville can be found in the bathtub with no privacy around here. So that's interesting. Is it going to be inside of the house, or is it going to be kind of split in half on stage where John's on the porch, or are we just going to hear John's voice? That's a little more interesting, because we have never seen an outdoor scene in the Carousel of Progress. 1985 Halloween. Let's see. Let's just kind of get a vibe of what it could be like. Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of some concepts that could be happening. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of retro 80s items. 1985. Let's just look up family in the 80s. So, I mean, you know, this vibe, and this is something that everybody's familiar with in the 80s. And then the new millennium. And with the 90s drawing to a close, our Carousel family is prepared to ring in the new millennium on New Year's Eve 1999 amid the excitement to the countdown to 2000. A new thing called the Internet is bringing John, Sarah, Jimmy, and Patty and the world closer together than ever. So, yeah, this is going to be like Y2K. It's pretty cool that they're going to be bringing that into play. And since that was a big, like, oh my gosh, the world's going to end. And if you're anything like the family, not everyone is making it to midnight. Grandpa's already nodded off before the big countdown, while Grandma sneaks the TV over to wrestling when no one's looking, which is funny because she does that about boxing in one of the scenes still. Okay, Act 4, the possible future. As we reach the end of our show, we will see the family one last time in the distant future in the out-of-this-world home, so not on Earth. That's pretty interesting. From a helpful robot assisting with everyday tasks to travel, the scene imagines a future where the extraordinary innovation has become part of life and proves that a beautiful tomorrow is just a dream away. To help bring this new finale to life, Imagineers looked back on the original concept sketches by legend John Hinch, drawing inspiration from his imaginative vision of the future. Okay, so this one on the left is what is going to be This is what the new poster is going to look like, and to the right is what the one they're talking about in the article there. So let's see if I can get the concept art for the scene. It was right here. Yeah, so this is going to be what they intend to do with the last scene. The setup is very similar. You got Grandpa and Grandma actually standing up walking to the left, and they actually got a pretty good effect that they do with animatronics walking these days. So that's kind of what that's planning on looking like. So kind of a Jetsons vibe, you know, out of this world with a robot assistant. When is this happening? Okay, to prepare for the version of this ever-progressing attraction, the Carousel of Progress will be temporarily unavailable on July 6th. So if you want to go, July 5th is the last day to see the Carousel of Progress as is. We'll actually be there on the 8th, so we're just going to miss it, but we've seen it plenty of times and can't wait for this new version. I can't wait to share more of the incredible work the team is doing in the months to come as we carry on Walt's vision, introducing the show to an entirely new generation of fans while honoring its history and heart. I could not be more optimistic about the beautiful tomorrow on the way. So reopening in 2027. So this is going to be a decently fast turnaround for the Carousel of Progress. Like I said, I'm super excited about this Walt animatronic. I'm super excited about just the changes in general. We're keeping it fresh. I mean, because it's kind of unrelatable to the kids now. But I do like how they're not just taking it out and doing a Disney IP. They're keeping the cores of the Carousel of Progress alive. Unlike kind of how they did the Country Bears. You know, this show's fine now, but they just threw in Disney songs to like pump up their movies. This is keeping Walt's vision alive of what I think he would like for the attraction in itself. So I think it's a pretty good change. So with that being said, that's kind of all we got to go with. So, you know, we went over Magic of Animation, Monstropolis, and the Carousel of Progress updates. Stay tuned for more updates as they come out. I'll try to get to them as fast as possible. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have a zippity-doo-dah day.